What it do, family? This your girl, Miss Danny Baby, coming back one more again with another video. Today, family, I want to discuss situation going on with Mr. R. Kelly and his resurgence, basically in R&B, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for my views on this subject, but really I don't care. For the stands that love and live through celebrities, no matter what they do or what kind of behavior they display, I just can't relate to you guys. So, but the ones that can feel me, feel free to continue listening. I'm aware of R. Kelly, Robert Sylvester Kelly's fame. He's a worldwide artist. He's been in the not rap, but R&B game for a very long time, spanning at least 25 years. It says that he's sold like 40 million albums in the U.S. alone and over 60 million albums worldwide. Says that he's influenced many artists that we're familiar with. Some examples could be like Chris Brown, Avant, Usher, Trey Songz, Justin Timberlake, Bruno Mars, Joe, Tyrese, Genuine, Donnell Jones, the Dream, Neo, Tank. The list goes on. So I'm aware of his popularity. I'm aware of his talent. Back in the 90s, I was hip to a lot of his music and did like his music. I'm not here to dispute his talent, but his talent really has nothing to do with the disturbing behavior. No matter how much we try to hide it, no matter how much we try to run from it, there's no running away from his behavior. That has lingered with this cat for years. You know what I'm saying? Man, there's so much about this dude. He actually has been sued many times for cases of sexual misconduct with underage individuals. Aaliyah is just one of many, and then the case where that he's notorious for being in a video, quote unquote alleged video, where he's urinating on a young teenage girl. But there were other cases that were never brought to the forefront, where R. Kelly was actually sued by different individuals in Chicago. This cat, I don't know, but it seems like society turns a blind eye to people when they're famous. Now, I'm not making this video to say that we should condemn anybody that's made a mistake, because we all fall short. We all lack perfection, 1000%. We can strive to be the best that we can be, the better self that we can be. We all have past and have made mistakes and whatnot, but I'd be damned if raping little kids or teenagers is going to be in my repertoire. I stand firm on that, and I hate child molesters, I hate rapists, I hate anybody that abuses children. I hate motherfuckers that force themselves on people. But even if you don't force yourself on a child, I still think it's pretty disgusting that you could coerce or convince a mere baby to do perverted sexual acts, and you a grown-ass man or woman. But in this case, we're talking about a man. And it's real curious. This cat is he deems himself the Pied Piper. If you guys do some history on the Pied Piper, that's actually an old German story dating back to the Middle Ages, like the 1200s, where supposedly this cat who was a rat catcher and rat killer, because in old Europe they had serious rat infestations and rat problems, and this cat was not paid supposedly for some services that he rendered in the city of it says Lower Saxon, Germany, and Hamelin is the area there. But he wasn't paid, so as revenge, he supposedly took this little like flute or what have you, and that was his trick in removing the rats from where they were not supposed to be. He played his flute, and supposedly the rats, this is folklore, but the rats will follow him out of the town. And so as revenge, when he didn't get paid, the Pied Piper played the flute for the children and whisked them away into the caves outside of the village, and the kids were never to be seen again. There's different versions of the story, but that's the gist of it. And some versions say he drowned the children. Some versions say he just had his way with them. It's pretty despicable. And for a man of R. Kelly's caliber to nickname himself the Pied Piper, that's very, very telling, and it's very, very disturbing. But he good. That's how we look at it. He good. Reminds me of that little cartoon, The Boondocks, where they talked about the R. Kelly trial. They had this big, fat, bloated broad on there, gold weave, just looking a hot mess with a plate of chicken, all the stereotypes that you can think of that the media produces, as far as concerning black people, especially black women, obese, loving chicken, But she's up there, and the reporter asked her, why are you supporting R. Kelly? And she's like, 'cause he good.
We're here at the R. Kelly trial, where there are a handful of angry protesters making their voices heard. These are scholars, activists, pillars of the African-American community, and they are outraged. And we're just going to head over here to the R. Kelly supporters, where it's quite the festive event. And you are...
Hey!
Now, why did you come out here to support R. Kelly?
'Cause he good.
And what about those protesters over there who say he's crossed the line?
Literate ass uppity niggas. All they talk about is reading and eating right. Nobody want to hear all that shit. If I want to get high blood pressure, then nigga, get the carrot away from me. If I want to get high blood pressure, then damn it, that's my business.
Let's talk to another R. Kelly supporter. You there, urban youth. Why do you think R. Kelly is innocent?
If I started peeing on you right now, would you A, smile and ask for more, or B, move the hell out the way? But before you answer that, let me ask America, has pee ever really hurt anybody?
That was the most ridiculous response, a base, shallow response. We have this hedonistic culture where all we care about is feeling good and what makes us feel good. And don't get me wrong, I know it's hard out here, man. And sometimes you need an opiate of sorts. And when I say opiate, I'm not talking about real drugs, but different things that calm us down and make us, feel more at ease. And music is an outlet. I understand that. I'm a music lover, so don't think that I don't understand that. But despite my love for music, I would never willingly uphold someone that abuses children just because they're a talented R&B star and they make good music. I just can't do it. I really can't. And I'm not, like I said before, I don't think we should condemn anybody and everybody that's made a mistake. There's been celebrities that have made mistakes, and I think that they should be forgiven. There's been celebrities who I personally believe have been out and out lied on. The Michael Vick situation, I don't think he was lied on, but I think the punishment did not fit the crime. I think that boy was railroaded. I think, he's made a wonderful comeback story, and I'm happy for him. I hope his life stays good and what have you. Not that I condone abusing dogs, but he learned his lesson, hopefully, and he can just move on. Tupac, he's another individual I think was railroaded. I don't necessarily personally believe he raped some girl, just from the news reports and the research that I've done on his particular case. I don't think he did that shit. I think he was set up, you know. So there are cases, you know, where I don't believe a person has done what they're accused of doing, or I think that they received much too harsh of a sentence. So me talking about R. Kelly is not on some bash type crap or hating on, you know, a celebrity, because a lot of them do get picked on and railroaded for frivolous crap. But back to the original point, child rape, point blank, is not frivolous. And it disturbs me greatly when I see the black community in particular uphold the debauchery, the nastiness, the disgusting behavior that this man R. Kelly is known for. Grown ass women. It would be disgusting for me to see a video with a grown woman getting urinated by some dude. The first thing gonna be going in my mind is, why in the hell is she letting him do that? When did peeing and bathroom behaviors become sex, first of all? But that's a whole nother show. But to do it and expose someone underage to that, it is beyond. It baffles me. Wow. I mean, it can make you want to cry, honestly, if you want to think about it for real. And the disturbing, disparaging comments I've heard about this young girl, where her little fast ass shouldn't have been all up in his face like that, or she knew what she was doing. You know, she probably she wanted them to pee on. Really. Somebody 13, 14 years old wants a cat to pee on her. You know, my research about child molestation and rape victims, a lot of times they don't even know that they are victims. And male children, they really have this bad. You know, they don't think that they've been abused. That's really a sad situation. That's a whole nother show as well. But a lot of kids in general don't realize that the wrong that's being done to them. And if you think about it, a lot of these kids are being turned out by cats that's way older than themselves. They're not being pissed on in most cases by kids their own age. A 13-year-old boy or 14-year-old boy, that probably wouldn't even cross his mind. He'd be so happy to cop a feel, or, you know, for the little girl to maybe allow him to go further. He is not interested in peeing on somebody. A lot of this crap is brought to youngsters by grown ass, wicked ass, devilish ass, scary ass, grown ass monsters. The stats on rape in this country, you know, it's staggering. I mean, just in the adult population alone, 1 out of 6 American adult women have been victimized from a rape or attempted rape in their lifetime. 1 in 33 adult men, same thing. 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys are sexually abused before their 18th birthday. 93% of juvenile sexual assault victims know their attacker. So, of course, this little girl knew R. Kelly, you know. So, she was down with it. And the sad thing is, a lot of these victims that are victims of sexual assault, 3 times more likely to suffer from depression, 6 times more likely to have post-traumatic stress disorder, 13 times more likely to abuse alcohol or drugs. I mean, really. And it says sexual assault is one of the most underreported crimes, with 60% of those still being left unreported. And like I said before, it also says males are the least likely to report sexual assault. I mean, this is crazy. And with so many sex crimes being unreported, you gotta wonder why. Because the stigma on the victim. Why are you gonna tell something that's gonna make you look bad? No matter what, the dude could have took a big hot crap on her and she wouldn't have told nobody. Because who wants to admit to something like that? I let so and so crap on me, you know? A 13, 14-year-old? Please. I was reading this article about R. Kelly with his new album that dropped, Black Panties. I also saw an interview, and I'll give y'all a little clip of that. It was the Atlanta radio station V103 with Tigger. He interviewed him, and it was like the studio, and I didn't, oh my goodness. It was like the studio was giddy with this cat, you know, riding his jock, riding his dick. I hate to be vulgar, but straight up dick riding because he good. Because they like the good music. Like, seriously. And notice in the interview with Tigger, when he briefly brings up R. Kelly's past by saying, back in the day there was, allegations made against you, and whatnot. But he was careful not to name what type of allegations they were. He was very careful. Pay attention, peep game. And they talked about that a little bit. R. Kelly came back with some smooth pimp shit, and then it was on and popping, talking about his album and the rest of his plans and what he wants to do, And it's just sickening. It's just sickening. He gets no props from me because he knows how to drop an album and sing a good song and put together some good videos. Fuck R. Kelly. Fuck everything he stands for. Fuck this cat for life. I just can't be down for dude. The Village Voice is a newspaper, and they interviewed the original reporter who dropped the story about R. Kelly. His name is Jim DeRogatis. I'm probably saying his name wrong, but he's the original reporter that reported that R. Kelly had been allegedly having sexual affinities for young women, and that he was accused multiple times. Faxes were coming in to the Chicago Police Department, and this was after the R. Kelly and Aaliyah situation. But one little quote here that really caught my eye, and it was so sad. It says the same reporter, he said that there was one young woman who had been, and we shouldn't even call her a woman, she's a girl, a teenager, says who had been 14 or 15 when R. Kelly began a relationship with her. Detailed in great length in her affidavits a sexual relationship that begun at Kenwood Academy. He would go back in the early years of his success and go to Lena McGlynn's gospel choir class. And this choir class is by a teacher that is a legend in Chicago, gospel royalty. It says that he would go to her sophomore class and hook up with girls afterwards and have sex with them. Sometimes buy them a pair of sneakers. Sometimes just letting them hang out in his presence in the recording studio. The girl detailed the sexual relationship that she was scarred by. It lasted about 1.5 to 2 years. You hear me? 1.5 to 2 years. And then he dumped her and she slit her wrists, tried to kill herself. Other girls were also involved. She recruited other girls. He picked up other girls and made them all have sex together. Do you hear what I'm saying, people? This is what R. Kelly is accused of. And you can look it up on Wikipedia right now. You can look it up in court records right now about the case where he was accused in 1997, where he settled out of court with a girl. She was suing for $10 million. Said that he was having sex with her. She only got $250,000, but that was in 1997. Fast forward to 2002, in February, that's when the allegations broke that R. Kelly was having sex with the underage girl on tape and urinated on her. He was charged with 21 counts of having sex with a minor. It was later reduced to soliciting a minor for child pornography, 7 counts of videotaping the acts, and 7 counts of producing child pornography. Do you hear me? It don't say grown woman pornography, child pornography. That same month, his house in Florida, Davenport, Florida, same goddamn month, they found pictures of more underage women in a duffel bag. He was arrested on that also in 2003, but in 2004 the charges were dropped. You know why? Only because they didn't have the right search warrant to look into his house. So he could have went down in flames for that, but for some reason search warrant wasn't right, so they had to dismiss that. And he was also acquitted of the charges of urinating on the girl because she wouldn't take the stand. Probably felt embarrassed, felt like she would be vilified. And who wants to think back to a time when you're in your 20s and you let some cat pee on you when you're 14? It's like shaming the goddamn victim. If I had a 13 or 14-year-old child, you could not come to me and say, Miss Danielle, your kid was giving me the eye. She was winking at me, so I just had to smash that. I just had to hit her. And I'm 40. Your kid 13 or 14. No, I'm not trying to hear it. I don't even want to discuss what I might be forced to do to you in a situation similar to that. We all know about him being with Miss Aaliyah. That baby was like 15. He took her out of town and snuck and married her. She wasn't even of legal marrying age. His perversion goes way back. It goes way back. And the black community is sitting back like Monique's character in the movie Precious, you know, where Precious's mother wouldn't protect her own daughter because she was getting some good dick from her freaking boyfriend that was raping her child as well. Are we getting good D from R. Kelly because he giving us some good music? He good. I'm just cracking up off the lady, the fat broad in Boondocks, because he good. Please, bitch, please. And everybody that think like that, please. I saw one commenter on another site said, you know what? It wouldn't have even went down like this if R. Kelly had raped a little white girl. So true. So friggin' true. They said, imagine him having pissed on Surrey Cruz, Tom Cruise's little girl. It would have been a lynch mob at his ass. He wouldn't have been able to get to the jail. He'd have been praying for prison. Them white folks would have had something so good and so terrible for his ass. And it also brings me to this other point. You know, as you guys notice, I do upload a lot of commentary from the great and honorable Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. She's a psychiatrist, and wow, this powerful woman knows her stuff. But in one recent video I uploaded, she discussed the travesty and how the sex act is portrayed between black people in media and in movies. She said that other communities, especially like the Jewish communities, their sex acts are protected because they consider them sacred. So if you see a movie projecting like the atrocities that Jews had to go through, let's say like in a war type situation when they were in the Holocaust, let's think of the movie Schindler's List. I saw that movie many, many years ago. It was a sad movie, but I do not recall any sexual imagery in the movie disrespecting the people that were in captivity. But look at any slave movie, virtually all of them depicting black people, and you'll see some type of sexual perversion, showing a motherfucker being this big mandingo stud, or a black woman in a winch type situation where she's getting sexed up all crazy. I haven't seen 12 Years a Slave just yet, but I heard that there's like some off the hook sex scenes in there between black slaves that was totally inappropriate and unnecessary. And with this type of mind programming where sex is thought of as like whatever, we don't give a F about it, put it in the videos, put it in the movies, it's no surprise that it trickles down in, real life. Art imitates life. And when young girls see this crap, they're getting peed on and turned out by Chester the molester. Tupac told y'all about them. And Brenda had a baby. The molester is sexing her crazy. Remember that quote? Check out that song. He telling y'all. He also told you in the song how the girl ended up becoming a prostitute, selling herself, and then became murdered. She was murdered by someone after she grew up and started selling her body because she got kicked out by her moms because her moms didn't want to be bothered with her ass. Same scenario like with Precious. These moms are not protecting their children. Fathers are not there to protect the children, so the children are left to their own devices. So I can see how a little young girl would be caught up under R. Kelly's clutches, mesmerized by his star power, mesmerized by this dude in these flashy clothes and with this fame, showing her some attention and probably offering her a little cash on the side or whatnot. She's doing whatever he wants her to do. It's really sad, and y'all wondering why ain't no queens in the community? I personally don't believe there are no queens, but to the level of womanhood that we demand and want, you wonder why. How are we molding the queens? What protection do they have? And the queens, we won't even protect the little baby queens, so imagine what our baby kings are getting. You motherfuckers wonder why they didn't care when the Sandusky scandal was going down at Penn State? If you don't care about the little girls in your community, what makes you think they're going to care about the little boys? Our kids are under attack and we ignore it for the sake of entertainment. It's a damn shame. It's a disgrace. It's I don't know. And then I'll hear the naysayers, well, white people do it too. You ain't saying nothing about that. Paul Walker was raping. He had a little young girl, that dude that just died, the cat that died in a car crash, the white boy just died a few weeks ago. Supposedly, he hooked up with a girl when she was like 16. And he was well into his 30s. I think it's disgusting. I think it's deplorable. I think his ass should have been called out. I don't just defend no pedophile. There was plenty in the white community. Hell, Elvis. That one dude and the mamas and the papas was raping the shit out of his own flesh and blood daughter. The one lady, I forget her name, but she played on One Day at a Time. She ended up being a drug addict. I read to y'all the stats, how this affects children. He was banging the crap out of his own daughter. And then let's not go there with the Catholic priest. So yeah, the white community does it, but when they get busted, though, a lot of times their community goes ham. Maybe not all the time, but a lot of times. Our community, the first thing we do is, well, her fast ass shouldn't have been in his face, or what did the victim do? That's our first reaction. It's really, really sad. We don't want to believe the victim, or we think that the victim did something to deserve the mistreatment. It's friggin' disgusting, y'all. And there's other people in the black entertainment industry that have possibly been molested. I mean, Lil Wayne, baby was kissing him in the mouth when he was just a little teenager. Let's not forget about B2K, Chris Stokes, that one little light-skinned cat. He seemed like he done fell off his rocker because of supposed abuse that happened to him. And as a man, as a young man, that's really got to be hard. You don't want to come out talking about some dude fondled you, because your manhood is at stake. As a little girl, when you get older, you know, your femininity is at stake. Your value as a woman. You know, you looked at as possibly a whore. It's just really sad, y'all. And I think the point of this video is not just to condemn R. Kelly. And I do condemn his actions, very much so. I got no love for dude. I'm not saying he should be hit by a train tomorrow or something, but he deserved a very severe punishment for the acts that he has obviously been involved in. Where there's smoke, there's fire. You're not going to be accused umpteen million, thousand, trillion times of molesting or being involved with young women and you didn't do nothing. Negro, please save that mess for somebody else. I'm not about to kiss your ass just because you're an R&B star. So my point to my community is, fam, we have to keep an eye out. You know, and let's not have a knee-jerk reaction and blame the victim every time some allegation of sexual abuse or sexual misconduct has happened. That's wrong, and it scares other victims away from possibly coming forward and you know, keeping it real with us and telling us what's going on. Our kids don't feel protected, man, and it's sad. Their parents aren't protecting them. Their family members aren't protecting them. And man, you won't believe the horror stories I've heard about kids being raped by Catholic priests, and their parents didn't want to believe it because of religion. It's like, you're not going to talk about Father so-and-so. Oh, hell no. He baptized little Johnny and them. How dare you speak against him, you know? So it goes all across the board. But my concern right now is our community. Our babies are not being protected, y'all. Don't be like the fat broad in the Boondocks. Talking about, 'cause he good. You down with whatever, 'cause he got good music. Have some damn standards. That's all I ask. Have some standards and protect what should be precious to us. That's all I gotta say.